Hello, I'm APXToyCam. One of the most interesting trends I've seen in 2019 Minecraft is the rise of so-called whole earth servers. This is where they take a map of the entirety of the Minecraft earth, upload it onto a Minecraft server, and then use the Townie plugin to not only simulate the entire earth, but also to simulate the various political structures that come along with that. It basically means people can simulate and run their own countries in Minecraft, and one of the most fascinating servers is the very biggest one of their type because of just how much has been done here. Today, we're going to be checking out the biggest whole earth political Minecraft server. Of course, others are available, and I do recommend checking one of those out, but today a lot of people have asked me to see other parts of this exact same server. Because as you can see, this is the dynamic map for the server. It has really built the entire earth inside Minecraft. It's fascinating to see because you can click and see where all of the players are, but also all of the political structures. Like this is Poland. We walked across it last time. In fact, we went across a lot of Europe last time, so I think it'd be kind of fun to check out some North American cities today, as well as, of course, the Koreas. Is North Korea really the best Korea? We'll find out on this Minecraft server, and then perhaps it might be fun to check out one of the more risque areas of the world and go to Syria, perhaps. We're going to be going to a lot of strange places today and checking out the server in that particular way. So before we get started, while I'm here in New York, which is where I left off last time, I feel like there's something I need to mention because whenever I play any Minecraft server, there's this big debate as to should you play, servers in a Minecraft channel, knowing that perhaps some people will join the server as a result. And I wanted to get the message off my chest right here, right now, and say that I spoke to the admin. The admin seems all on board with it. I spoke to a lot of the community, and the community seems to be on board with it for the most part because people love seeing their countries and their favorite parts of the server shown off. But there are also people who believe in kind of like the whole censorship thing of these things should not be public. You should never share this sort of stuff with the world because it's our little secret. But my personal philosophy on this is if something is public, then it's available for anyone to see, right? Whether you want to tell your friends or whether you want to tell, a lot of people on the internet, if you want to make it private, you can totally do that. But this server is very deliberately public. It thrives off having a huge community, and that is a good thing to some extent, no? The only downside that is ever really stated is the fact that, of course, this server only has a limited number of players that can be on at a time, and sometimes it comes close to that max, which means there's a queue after that point. So if there is a queue, please do not join the server. This is my request to you right now. That is the one negative effect. Only join if there is space for you to immediately join. So if you are looking to join a server, I recommend joining one without a queue, but EarthMC is the biggest one, the one we're playing on and checking out today. But you can build one of these things from scratch. You can build your own New York City if you really want to. Now we've gotten that out of the way, let's check out this server because I'm really excited to see what the Earth community has built. Another thing I'd like to mention, because I think it's kind of funny, is that the roads between the continents, the ice roads, have been seriously improved since last time. Look how nice this ice road is between Europe and Africa, I believe it is. And they've even got this little headquarters building where they maintain the roads. I mean, a little bit concerning having a giant red flag. I'm just saying, when you see the communist symbolism, it's a bit of a red flag. Okay, that's the worst joke. Let's get out there. Let's head to the south, maybe? Wait, no, I want to head west. I want to head across America before we head to Africa. As fun as Africa is going to be, we gotta stay focused today. Okay, that was fun, but I'm going to try and stay on track today, and we're going to check out some big US cities, starting with Chicago, because looking at the map, you can see how the US is surprisingly like the real-life version of it, where it's super spread out. There are very few settlements across there, besides on the coast, but there are some big exceptions to that, both in Illinois and in Texas. Maybe it'd be fun to check out both, but Chicago is a pretty big city. As you can see right here, we've got what I assume is the Loop and a few other places kind of set up here. Oh, this is Plainfield, an Iroquois settlement. But yeah, we're going to be checking out a little bit of Chicago, which apparently is not in Illinois. It's in Kansas, according to the server, because I guess Kansas went and conquered it, maybe? That's very confusing. Oh, it should be worth noting, because this server, kind of starts from scratch, there's a lot of things, modern political structures that aren't here, and, the US as a whole concept isn't a thing. Instead, it's lots of different nations, such as Kansas, which invaded Chicago, and is now building one of the biggest cities in America. So I guess that's a thing that you can check out. But yeah, this is Chicago, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the third biggest city by population in the US. It's a pretty interesting city, because it's, so different climate-wise to the rest of the real world, and it's also, super skyscrapery. And it's also got this very distinct vibe because whereas New York is a very international finance city, and whereas LA is the city of celebrities and it's very international otherwise, Chicago has a little bit of that, but it's also got this very fun American feel to it, mixed in there too, which I think is, a really interesting thing, this city. Also, for what it's worth, Chicago has one of the highest murder rates for gun-on-gun violence, but it's mostly, in places just outside Chicago, so as long as you stay in the city bounds, you should be safe. I have just left the city bounds, and those noises immediately alert me that I am not safe. But I want to check out the Iroquois nation. to the west a little bit, so let's head over there now. So yeah, I definitely am here in Plainfield, Iroquois. And it's a nice place because they have themselves lots of, glass greenhouses. I always want to call them just greenhouses. They are green in terms of what's inside, but they're glass, they're transparent, that's their color. And the settlement as a whole, it's a nice break from the city, I guess. It's kind of like the suburbs, where instead of being just giant skyscrapers, it's just these nice little, little towns and settlements and little houses going around here. So let's check out some of these, because this is a house that belongs to someone with very interesting tastes. I actually quite like the black on red. Personally, I'm a big fan of seeing different Minecraft builds. I don't like everything being the same, but I feel like a lot of people would question the black concrete powder walls with the red stained glass and the orange terracotta. Maybe it's concrete. And then there's green glazed terracotta for the things. This is a beautiful house. At first I was torn on this, but this is the best house I've ever seen in Minecraft. And they just live in the suburbs of Chicago, I guess. Yeah, this place has such a nice little feel of a small American town, despite being literally on the outskirts of Chicago, at least in games. I know it's a bit further away in real life, but it's even got this nice little roller coaster. It's got one of those giant barns you see on TV, or maybe in real life if you live near a giant barn in America. And yeah, I like this Plainfield place a lot. Maybe I'm not cut out for that city life. Maybe I should live out here in the suburbs. But yeah, the thing that makes these servers beautiful is the fact that every single, little civilization, every single town, for the towny plugin, but every single nation, every single city, every single town, any collection of players seems to have some common goal for what they want to build, whether it's a giant city, whether it's some giant walls, whether it's some whatever. And the fact that all of these players exist side by side, sometimes peacefully, sometimes not so much with, you might have seen some threats in the chat earlier, towards someone like, hey, if you don't pay, I'm going to invade you. You declared war for nothing because you're not a very nice person. Are you allowed to say retarded on YouTube? I don't know if that's one of the allowed words, but that's what they said. I'm just quoting them. And you can see how the chat's always super spirited in that way, because it's a lot of people existing in their own little bubbles, having their great little towns and cities and, things like this, and building, as a collective, but then also being able to fight for each other. I think it's fascinating that this whole Earth kind of experiment proved something that we see in the real world all the time, that one of the best ways to unify people is to divide them against each other. Unify people in amazing ways amongst themselves, and that by, making them fight other people, which is the whole reason we have tribes to begin with, right? I don't really like people, but if I was going to die if I didn't have a friend to defend me, or if I wouldn't defend a friend, then, you better believe I would be a fan of the tribe system. By the way, right now I'm heading across the rural United States. There are very few villages and settlements between Chicago and Texas, which is where I want to head next. Right now I'm somewhere near St. Louis, which, by the way, one of my favorite American cities that I've been to. But St. Louis in the game seems to be nothingness. This is literally, all there is over there. That's roughly where I'm at. When to get to Texas, you can see how it's just all of this space right here. There's a few tiny settlements of one house, one guy just living by himself in a bunker, and then there's pretty much nothing else all the way until I get to Austin, Texas, or to Dallas, or to College Station, ? Oh, I was wrong about St. Louis being nothing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there is something here, just a few weird alternate American style flags. I like it. They've built a giant version of their own banner. It makes the banner seem so much more official when there's a giant wool version of it. I really like this as a building idea, by the way. If you're going to make a custom flag for your nation, by the way, which has a Congress and a Supreme Court, very temporary, I can see. It's kind of cool to have that next to that. For any flag, I think that really adds some legitimacy to it. But yeah, right now St. Louis is just a very temporary little place, and everything else we're going to see along the way is going to be similarly temporary, I do believe. And the good news is, because we're in just the wild areas, the PvP zones, the wilderness between towns, it's actually fairly easy for us to break blocks, although a little bit of server lag means it might take some time. There we go. Man, the moment I get on the road, it turns out it's the very end of it. This is a huge road going through the forest, and then it takes a right turn, which is not the direction I need to be heading. So more forests for me, I guess. Oh, as it turns out, I was slightly wrong about there being nothing between, Chicago and Texas, third, fourth biggest cities, etc. But it actually turns out there is Kansas City, the thing which owns Chicago, which I think is, kind of funny by itself. But yeah, Kansas City is here, and it's actually pretty nice. It's what I imagine Kansas City is like in real life. Fun fact, did you know Kansas City is not actually in Kansas? I bet you didn't know that. It's in in Missouri for the most part. There is a Kansas City in Kansas, but it's smaller than the Kansas City that's not in Kansas, which I think is beautiful, and maybe you do too. But yeah, it's kind of funny that, in the same way the server unites around these towns and cities, whether it be Kansas or whether it be Austin, or whether it be wherever this is this also Kansas City? Maybe this is the Kansas City. No, actually, maybe that's the Kansas one. Whatever, you get the point. But yeah, you can see how just over here. Wait, I've checked on a map. This is Olaf, Kansas, which has a different mayor to the other one. Oh yeah, so you can see Kansas City has a far huger variety of players. Look at that. Whereas, you know, Olaf, Kansas is a much smaller place. It's more quaint and whatnot. Oh, we've even got these fun little skywalkways. I love seeing these in cities. Like, I think Minneapolis probably has the most of them. But, like, any city which has walkways between buildings in the sky is a city that I am a fan of and would love to visit. But, yeah, no, it's funny because in the same way people can unite and divide around the cities and towns and countries in game, it's also a funny thing where you can see there's a big division between, like, is it cool when people come check out the server? There's a lot of people who think, yeah, like, it's an opportunity to show the build, to have more, you know, players or whatever. And some people say, no, actually, I like the current number of players. People who have already joined, they're the best people. Get out of here, new players. Obviously ignoring the fact that people, you know, need to join to keep the server alive because slowly people die off. And, you know, like people want a server that's alive, just not too alive. They want, you know, a certain number of people in the server as a whole, but not too many. And to some extent, this is, you know, kind of, again, it's a fun reminder of, you know, any country, but let's just say the US as a whole, where you can be like, oh yeah, people much prefer people from their own town or state as a whole. But also there's a big, you know, debate as to like, should more people join the country as a whole? Should we have a lot of people here or should we have way fewer people here? There's, you know, that debate is always running at the same time in real life, and it kind of replicates. I love that I'm over here, like, basically I love that I'm over here apparently giving people some weird analogy to immigration. As far as I can tell, based on the vigor and the, you know, the angriness of some of the, you know, people based on it, because, you know, it's good enough right now. Why does it need to change? Why does it need to grow or get bigger or better or whatever? And a lot of, you know, the fact that the server owner wants that, that's not important. The server owner, you know, should be subjected to what the people want, and maybe the people don't like that. And I love that you see these factions and debates go down. I love that there are a lot of people like, actually, I love seeing new people who think the same way as us joining this same place. I don't know where this all goes, but I think it's fascinating. Speaking of fascinating, during my little walk across, you know, America right here, there has been a surprising number of like, oh yeah, look, here's a fun little desert saloony looking town. You know, it seems as though there's no big cities, and there are no big cities between the two big ones, but there are lots of, you know, small little outposts and settlements of one person or two people, and yeah, I think that's kind of cool, because that does reflect how, I guess, the US is as a whole. Like, there's nothing big, but there are lots of small towns that people, you know, enjoy living in. And yeah, I would recommend totally in a server like this, even though there are TP options, and we use those for going huge distances sometimes, I do recommend going for a little walk across a server like this, because, you know, that's how you explore the Earth, right? I guess not by walking. Usually I explore the Earth by taking a train or plane or something, but still, usually you're traveling across it, you get a sense for the scale of it. Like, I've said this before, and it might be offensive, but like, for instance, if you teleported me instantly from the UK in real life to New Zealand in real life, I'm not sure I would believe that they were opposite ends of the globe. Like, maybe a little bit apart, maybe it's another European country like Malta or something, but yeah, I wouldn't believe that they were so far apart. But when you see everything in between, like I've done between Chicago and Texas here, you start to appreciate and understand things at least a little bit more. So here we are in, by the way, Houston, Texas, which, if I'm not mistaken, is definitely the 4th biggest city. Sometimes it's 5th, sometimes it's 3rd. You're not, let's just say, very big city in continental United States. Is that acceptable? And yeah, it's funny because they've got this little welcoming dude. Oh, no, he's a human trafficking victim. That's... I thought he was here to welcome me, but he's like, I have very mixed emotions. Should I think that's cute, or should I think this is terrible? I genuinely don't know, but I think that's beautiful. But yeah, this is a Republic of the Rio Grande, in case you're curious, which apparently is a little faction here. So this, if I'm not mistaken, is the Houston flag. Actually, I'm not sure what any of these flags are, but yeah, this one looks a little bit Middle Easty, right? So just now I killed myself so I could get my hunger back, and while I was doing so, I noticed that the chat now has 3 separate channels. There's a Chinese channel and a Russian channel, as well as a trade one, which makes me think there's a whole bunch of Chinese players and maybe Russian players on this server, and then this is the polite way of saying not Chinese or Russian. But you know, it's for trading, which is why you use English. Oh wait, no, maybe that is a beautiful thing, because English is the international language of business. So maybe you do business, and if you're, you know, Russian or Chinese speaker, you gotta learn English if you want to trade that gold or diamonds of other players, I guess. Okay, so maybe, you know, I'm just seeing this. Maybe I'm the bad one for noticing this. But does this building look like? You know, never mind. This is beautiful, right? Maybe what is this design? I mean, having the balcony there makes me think that it's not, and it's just a happy coincidence or a sad coincidence. But I'm very cautious of this building. I feel like we should go inside. Oh man, I might be trapped here. It claims to be the city hall, and I mean, it seems very serious on the inside. There's even a museum on the 3rd floor, which I have to go see this. Let's see the Museum of Houston, because if you look over there, they actually have their own Discord. Wait, if this is a community of people so serious, they've got like projects they work on, a little Discord server just for the Houston on this one server, which I think is kind of cool. But yeah, let's go check out the Museum of Houston, Texas in the server. Oh, wait, 3rd floor American system means 2nd floor British system? Did I miss it? Was that the museum? One of the funny differences between American flooring and British flooring is we have ground and then we go 1, 2, 3. But I think in America 1 is the ground floor. So is this 2? No, this would be 2, and therefore this is definitely 3. Which, I mean, where's my museum? Is the museum a lie? Is that just like a... Is that I feel clickbaited by this, I feel like I was lied to, and I did not get my museum in the end. There is a nice little balcony here, though. I'm just saying, I have my concerns about how legitimately this thing was built. But, let's move on from those, because the rest of the city looks pretty good as well. Look at this church over here. It's a pretty nice church. I mean, fits what I vaguely know about the south of the US. Look at that giant water building. That's a pretty sweet build. How did they even do that, actually? Is the water under the glass or on the outside? Oh, it's just blue glass. I am literally... Is that actually blue glass? I should make something out of blue glass. I've learned from this. Again, this server's also kind of cool because you get to get some inspiration. But yeah, Houston, Texas, nice little place. There's other cities in Texas I'd love to check out. Same with the real world. But yeah, for now, this one's pretty solid. Oh, I should mention, by the way, I'm going to Houston fairly soon. I'm really excited about it because I haven't ever been to Texas. There's a lot of like Texas-only things in the US that I've always wanted to check out. Also, ring the bell. Wait, no, this is a perk opportunity. Make sure if you're watching this video, you ring the bell. See, I'm a YouTuber now because I'm promoting myself and making it more likely that you see my future videos, because that's how you survive as a YouTuber. So thank you to anyone who has subscribed, unironically, and everyone who's unironically subscribed. You count just as much. So it's funny because from here in Houston, if you don't know, here's where it is on the map of the US as a whole. From here in Houston, it's way easier for us to go to, looks like, Mexico down here. I know that's still Rio Grande, but it's easier for us to go to certain Mexican cities, unless Rio Grande is a Mexican city. I'm not too sure what's going on here, but it's easy for us to go to these major Mexican cities than it is for us to go all the way west to see, Lake Tahoe, or to see Mount Bridge, or I really want to see Salt Lake City in-game, because I learned in history class that Salt Lake City's on an actual Salt Lake, but I still never believe it, so I'm gonna have to see it in Minecraft before it seems real to me. Unless maybe there just aren't any Mormons playing Minecraft and no one fought to build it, because there's Las Vegas, so this should be Salt Lake, right? But this is New Canaan, the Grand Canyon, which is somewhere near Salt Lake, maybe? Okay, so in direct contradiction of what I said previously, I'm going to teleport a little bit west so I can get a feel for what the Grand Canyon area looks like, because I didn't notice it, it didn't like pop in my head because I just didn't assume. But if you look right here, you can see how oh yeah, this whole area, everything around here besides the strip is actually owned by the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon, all of this stuff is owned by... All of this stuff besides this one here, which is owned by Deseret. Deseret, if I'm not mistaken, is like a... Mormon Bible term for Salt Lake, or maybe it's like the holy place. I'm not entirely sure, but I think this might be Salt Lake City, which, I mean, it's neither really a Salt Lake nor a city, which is kind of sad. So yeah, we're gonna head west from here. I've teleported over to the Grand Canyon. We're gonna look at it in real life. We're gonna look at it in Minecraft because I've always wanted to look at it in real life, but I mean, fun fact, I don't live anywhere near the Grand Canyon, and I mean, there aren't really any major cities near it that, besides like Phoenix and maybe Las Vegas, that are easy to get to from Europe. So I guess we're gonna have to settle for the Minecraft version. Oh, actually, is this the canyon here? I'm not sure if this is, but this is a beautiful mesa biome. I know it's like modded terrain, or like, not modded, but like custom terrain, but like this is beautiful stuff. This inspires me to like go to a mesa biome and make my own Grand Canyon almost. I mean, it'd be a lot of effort, but if it looks anywhere near as good as this, it'd be beautiful, right? There's even this giant railway which takes you up the mountain, maybe to get a better view. Again, this area, I love that, even within this same, region of the world, even within the US, you can see just how diverse the biomes are, but, like real-life biomes, not even Minecraft biomes. Fun fact, actually, a lot of Minecraft biomes are based on parts of the US. The Mesa Bryce biome, based on the Bryce Canyon. I want to say the Mushroom biome is a real place in the US, and same with the Mega Tiger, there's, a few places that look like that. I thought that was wild when I learned that. maybe you do too. I also think it's wild that there's just a dude who lives out here way outside of the city in the Grand Canyon. Oh, this is a train station. No one lives here. Actually, I like to imagine there's a dude role-playing as a homeless person at the Grand Canyon train station. I like to believe that. Actually, no, I don't like to believe that. That makes me sad. So, yeah, you can also see, taking advantage of a Java Edition feature, because these are always Java servers, they're, you know, having maps on the floor. This is really cool to see. We can see the entire area, like, super zoomed in. Although, actually, you can see how this exact same view we can get on the world map, just like this, because here we are anyway. Like, here's the train station, here's the surrounding area. But, I mean, like, it's still cool to see it in the game. This is a fun bit of inspiration. Also, this is the end of the railroad, and that's the other end. This is a really short rail track. Like, I mean, maybe they're going to expand. Maybe it used to go further. It's like Amtrak, where, like, it used to cover the whole country, and now it just kind of covers some of it sometimes, question mark. But yeah, super interesting to see regardless. Yeah, it's a fun fact actually is that there used to be so much more train service across America because the country thought that the best way to stay together, the best way to bring trade across the entire continent was the railroad. It was the big thing in Europe at the time. And yeah, so the Transcontinental Railroad was one of the biggest like moments in American history. Again, I studied it in school in case you're curious as to why I know random things about American railroads. But yeah, it's interesting that like, at one point, that was thought to be the way to connect America, and therefore there's a lot of cities which had rail stations, now no longer do, because, you know, it was kind of a pipe dream. You can also see it go the other way in a few places, such as Denver, I think, used to have a rail station, and then it's not really used for Amtrak anymore, but then they used it as like the basis of their light rail system. It's a really beautiful station you should check out in real life. I would check it out in Minecraft if it existed. I decided to check, and yeah, it seems like it doesn't exist. There's Colorado Springs here, and there's some unclaimed town to the north. I don't know why it's unclaimed. Is it meant to be Colorado? It's owned by a man called Trashman John, so I guess there's that. There is some form of Colorado here, but it's not particularly big, which is why we're going to continue our journey westward till we hit the west coast. By the way, I found somewhere that looks a little bit Fallouty because there's a town somewhere in Nevada, maybe, that worships the holy TNT. And, I mean, there were parts of Nevada that were nuked, right? That's where a lot of the nuclear testing went on. So maybe this is a radiated little town that worships a piece of TNT. I'm not sure how easy it is for wars to happen where that could perhaps blow up, but I'm just saying, putting TNT inside your city is either the best move or the worst move. It's either a power play or it's literally the opposite of that, and I really don't know which. If there's one thing I've learned from the internet, it's that if we all raid Area 51 together, they can't stop us, and by we all, I mean literally just me. So clearly this will go really well. I'm actually curious, like, is Area 51 represented in any real way? Because if you look on the map, you can see how there is something Area 51 looking all the way up here. Epic Area 51. There is some form of Area 51. Let's see if they can stop me getting in. Actually, is there anything just stopping me doing it the normal way by just joining like that? Oh, the doors are not open to everyone. Ask the mayor or an assistant to join. So even though I know about half the server is very, you know, torn onto whether YouTubers are a thing, I'm gonna ask if anyone's tried going to Area 51. I've got a fake name set up so that people don't ask, are you the real Toy Cat? As you can see, I'm not Toy Cat. The most, which I think is the best name you can be, right? Like, is it the real Toy Cat or is it a fake Toy Cat? It's both at the same time. Okay, I don't wanna fuel any conspiracy theories, but it's a little suspicious that there's a giant red beam coming from roughly where Area 51 is, the place I can't get into, and a place which is surrounded by giant walls on all sides. Although they made the mistake of thinking a single block or 2 blocks and then a cobblestone wall is enough to stop you getting in, which doesn't work when you're going across walls like this, because all I have to do is jump on the side like this. And look at this, I've snuck into Area 51. Let's see what it's like here. Don't go to Area 51, they're throwing Belle Delphine's bathwater at you. Ah, that would explain what this is. Welcome to Area 51. All intruders will be shot on sight. They've even got some suspicious lights that just kind of cycle on and off just for the fun of it. I like this place, actually. There is a real Area 51 that someone built. I'm pretty sure it's one person based on this. Someone just decided to build this. But the question is, what's in the underground part of the base? Am I going to find aliens, or is it just more of the bathwater? Again, I mean, before I wasn't sure if it was intentional, but this definitely is intentional, right? There's no way that's not designed to be with that. Is this what they're hiding in Area 51? Is this really what all the commotion is about? Oh, wait. I found a nether portal here too, but it's just another giant hole? Question mark? Yeah, this is really confusing. There's just a giant hole in the nether that connects up to Area 51. Maybe this is what the US government has really found. Or maybe it's this other secret tunnel. There's lots of secret tunnels in this Area 51 place. It's just a tunnel going down to bedrock. Why? Why is this a thing? I really don't know. Wait, it's kind of strange because the same portal that I went in Area 51 ended up over here. Also, someone said Storm Area 51. One step ahead of you. The portal ended up in Fresno, which if I'm not mistaken is a Californian city? Somewhere near LA, maybe? Maybe it's in between LA and San Francisco, but still. We ended up in Fresno, which is a bit of a weird outcome. I've always thought, by the way, if there is something really secret in Area 51, it's not gonna, you know, the very top-end stuff isn't gonna be stored there, because that's where people know to look for it. The really top-end stuff is in some random place that looks like it's a mountain on a map, but is actually a giant military base, or something like that, you know? If North Korea can do it, so can, you know, the United States of America. They're not hiding their biggest secrets in a place just north of a major metropolis. No, you know, Area 51 probably has some secret, you know, F-51 fighter jet designs or some, you know, like nonsense technology like that, but it doesn't have aliens or stuff like that. That's gonna be, oh, San Francisco and Oakland, this way. Let's go check it out. I like San Francisco. No, here's the deal. I really like California in a lot of different ways, but prices are not one of them. And also space is like not one of them either. Like the San Francisco in particular, it's literally a peninsula. It's surrounded on 3 sides by water. And yeah, it's so small for the millions of people that live there. Wait, I've worked it out. This must be a hospital. That's just a plus with some extra extremities on it. Wow, look how good care they take of their people up here in middle California. Although this road, which leads directly into a river, might contradict that a bit. I mean, maybe if all these cars are driving into a river, maybe that's why they need a giant hospital next door. It's funny, this is almost like the answer to the question, like, what would it be like if California was invented in medieval times? And I guess they'd have huge castle walls and stuff like that. You know, like a big moat to stop people getting in. Maybe. I think actually that giant bridge I just went under might have been the Golden Gate Bridge. I guess it's a lot smaller because this is 1 to 1 kilometer scale. So what is meant to be, you know, 3, 4, 5 kilometers maybe is just like 4 blocks. But yeah, let's go back. Let's check out what San Francisco's about because I think I missed it all. So yeah, there's a huge mining operation to the north here. I actually like the way they've done these mines, like a little bit intimidating, but also kind of beautiful at the same way. And they've got enough red concrete to make them look cool. And then San Francisco appears to be nothing, whereas Oakland, which is the main part of the city, you can see there's a board here, official notice from the governor of Oakland, any unauthorized bridge buildings. Oh, so there's very California. There's even like an executive order and regulations to stop you doing things like that. But yeah, you can see how like, oh yeah, look at this. There's a big old city. Wait, is this the same town from earlier? Oh, goddamn, it totally is. There's a horse inside. Is it a horse hospital too, maybe? But yeah, that is San Francisco. This one road that leads into a big river is San Francisco. That's kind of sad. So yeah, we've gone from East Coast to Middle Coast, there's no coast in the middle, to Texas, to Area 51, to California. But you know, we could end the video there, be like, this was a nice tour of North America, but I want to go further. I want to go deeper. I want to see what it's like in Syria, so I'm going to find a town in the Middle East that will let me join. I know, very confusing reverse scenario here. Okay, the closest place I could find, or at least like major place that I think would be fun to walk from, was Bucharest, which is the capital of Romania, if you don't know. It's also right next to this giant city, Turnovo in Bulgaria, which is roughly where Sofia should be. So yeah, we've got Romania, we've got Bulgaria, and then we'll walk through Turkey, it looks like. Constantinople. Sorry, we're walking through Constantinople, definitely not Istanbul, or Byzantium if you want to call it that. And then from there, we can finally make our way into Syria. Wait, I forgot Turkey exists. Generally, I thought like, oh yeah, you go straight from, you know, Bulgaria right into the Middle East. No, we've got to cross Turkey as well. And then we can hit Damascus in Syria. It's going to be a fun walk. I hope it's worthwhile. Like in real life, the Romanians are nice, friendly people, it seems. And we've even got a giant grand castle that you get to spawn in. So yeah, this is super interesting. Like, the style of the architecture has entirely changed along with the flag, along with everything else, as we've gone from North America, which, even though it was very different, there was something keeping it together. Here, everything's just wildly different. It looks like we're in like a forest town. And yeah, we're sadly just going to head right out to Bulgaria. I don't even have to look at the map to see which way south is, because I know that's the Bulgarian flag, or at least I'm pretty sure. It'll be embarrassing if I'm wrong, but we can find out from the comments, right? But no, I'm pretty sure that's the Bulgarian flag. White, green, and, you know, red. Notably not using the pan-Slavic colors of white, blue, and red. And yeah, we're going to head right into Bulgaria, which has a big old doorway just for me to walk in through. If there was any doubt, there's this sign saying, builds protected by Bulgaria. And then a smiley face, a heart, and another smiley face. But yeah, look how different the style of the builds is here in Bulgaria. In fact, actually, you know, it's a shame that last week we missed out Southeastern Europe because there's a lot of cool cities there, and apparently that transfers right into Minecraft Earth. So just outside Bulgaria, there's this giant submarine, which I really want to go check out, but again, we've got a mission to be on, and that is a mission to head to Syria. Jesus, Constantinople is beautiful. I mean, you know, I see why people say, you know, not Istanbul, Constantinople, if it really looked like this. Although, actually, wait, I thought this was just the chunk not loading it correctly. I mean, I'm no expert in medieval building styles, but I just feel like that's not how castles look. Actually, wait, it looks kind of cool, actually, I see it more. I really want to build something like this now, like a floating giant thing. It just seems a bit too big for me. So if you don't know, one of the things that makes Constantinople so powerful, one of the reasons it's one of the it's the biggest city in Europe if you count the Asian side, which is a funny sentence to say, but the reason it's such a big city, the reason it's so important, is because it controls all of the you know, power, influence, trade of the Black Sea, which then controls a bit of Russia. So it's a very important part of the world for trade routes and for all those sorts of things. And yeah, there's a very big city on both sides of the river. One of the biggest I've seen actually in this server so far. Look, there's even a giant statue on top of that giant. Either way though, I'm just here because I'm trying to go through the river thing. Just in case you're curious, by the way, there's Bucharest, there's Bulgaria, here's Constantinople, one of the biggest cities on the server. And then we're gonna head all the way around that through some of the Greek islands, and I guess over to Cyprus along the way too. Or Nicosia, which belongs to Turkey apparently. Man, there is something so nice about taking a long boat ride, watching the sunrise, having that Minecraft music perfectly play here. I think one of the things I love about this server concept is no matter how much or little you know about the server, you can always navigate it. You can always understand the scale of the distance you're traveling, which is something that's a lot harder to appreciate in a regular Minecraft world because the biomes start to blend together after a while. But you know, seeing this giant church on a random Greek island, seeing all of this stuff, it doesn't blend together. The distance I'm traveling feels real, and it makes it actually fun to do a distance this big. Anyway, the sun is rising. I'm hoping we're gonna find Cyprus soon. Honestly, I think one of the things that makes the world as a whole beautiful is knowing there's only so much of it. Unlike the universe, which expands infinitely, you know that you could theoretically explore the Earth, or at least explore every country at some point, explore every major city in every country if you tried hard enough. Knowing that it's within grasp, even if you don't grasp it, is something that's beautiful, and that's something that's not true for the infinite worlds of Minecraft. That's why I've always loved the limited worlds that console used to have, the old style world that we've used for various Minecraft server experiments. The reason I love all these sorts of things is because you understand the limits of it, and everything makes more sense within a finite world. When you have a limited amount, also there's some random French in the chat, but when you have a limited amount of something, you appreciate it much more. I think something that can help you understand the limits of any resource, be it time, be it money, be it physical space in the world, is understanding the limits of it. Like, you will not have infinite money in your life. When you earn X amount a year, it doesn't just last for that year, it has to last over so much longer time. Understanding the limitless of money is what can make you so much better with. Understanding the limits of the world can make you appreciate what's going on more. Also, yeah, we're on Cyprus now, it literally is just Turkish on, which is probably offensive to the real world, but whatever, that's fine. And yeah, it's fascinating to me that understanding that something is smaller can make it seem bigger. But it's true, right? Like, if you think about $157 million, what does that really mean? If you think about the fact that in your lifetime, you'll earn $4.3 million, every single dollar counts more than in that mystical world. And in that way, 4.3 million would seem like far more than 157 million. At some point, when you just add numbers, you get past the point of human comprehension. Because not all humans are numbers people. And I guess even people who are numbers people don't necessarily go all the way on that sense. Also, yeah, it seems like though Nicosia is just a giant castle. I guess they invaded Cyprus, built a castle here, and then figured, you know, it's our territory now. No one really wants to live on an island in the middle of nowhere, which is a shame, in my opinion. But yeah, this is Cyprus. What a lovely little random island on the way to the Middle East. By the way, I have no idea how this is possible, but I've genuinely lost my boat. I put it down here, I'm pretty sure, and now it's gone. The fact that there's someone in a boat rowing away from me does make me very suspicious that maybe they took my boat. So I guess what we have to do is head across the island onto this little bridge over to Byzantium. I might have done something very rude to get a boat. I might have realized that part of this fortress was out here in the neutral zone, and I figured, you know what, is Turkey gonna miss one of their little boat pillars anyway? I'm sorry, Turkey. I'll give it back as soon as I can. I'll be back here very soon, fixing your wood things. I mean, it's not as if anyone's even gonna notice this, right? Like, these are further out of the water than other ones anyway. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that someone's done this before. Is this guy coming to kill me, or is he a friendly? Maybe I should take his boat. Yeah, that's my genius idea here. Oh god, he wants to kill me. Okay. The good news here is I can get away. See, I was right though. See, I did a bad thing, but it allowed me to escape someone doing a bad thing to me. This is one of the beauties of like human morality, where like, it's bad to steal, but if someone tries to kill you, it's probably okay to steal from them, right? I'm not sure if that's actually true. I just know I have a boat now, and that no one can kill me, and that's all that matters. So what we're now going to do to make sure we can't be chased is the same thing we did at the start of the video, which is going to hide ourselves from the map so that people can't do the thing. I hit Toy Cat in Turkey. Yeah, that guy was coming to kill me. I nailed that interaction, I think you'll find. Also, is this my previous boat? There's a lot of random stranded boats here. In the Turkish Sea, the Greek Sea. Oh wow, look at this. See, again, Middle East, very different architecture style. There's a British flag here, there's a giant ship, but then it's very sandstony, kind of like a desert village. By the way, this server has some form of leveling system, and I just leveled up my acrobatics by taking damage, which was totally intentional. That's why I took the damage. That's why I fell 4 blocks instead of 3. It's because I'm a super genius who wants to level up my acrobatics skill, of course. But no, yeah, looking at these areas right here, the parts of Byzantium, it's either really beautiful or really ugly, and I can't work out which. Like, everything here looks like it was blown up at some point recently, but maybe that's just how the terrain is, or maybe it is like deliberate, they're working on something. There are big projects in the start of being made right now. By the way, this is 100% survival everything on the server, which is why seeing some of these things is so impressive, just in case you didn't know. Probably should always clarify that. Like when it comes to Minecraft, obviously there are some things that are interesting and creative, but 99% of what's interesting about Minecraft to me is survival and seeing what people can do in it. And this is a grand example. Like even in this fairly remote part of the server, there are still giant builds of various different things. I guess I should say survival asterisks, by the way, because you can buy resources using gold and stuff. In survival, there is a currency, which makes it somewhat easy to build things, but still not easy, I wouldn't say. Okay, now that I'm fairly far away, I'm going to show myself on the map, and we're going to get a peek as to where we actually are at this point in time. Because I think I'm somewhere near Damascus. Yeah, I went a little bit too far, ended up in this thing here. We've got to head to the north now, and then we can check out Damascus, Syria. And all the people who decided, you know what, I could live anywhere in the world in my Minecraft world, but I choose to live in Syria. Like, Syria was supposedly, quite beautiful, quite an interesting place before the big civil war. These days, however, one of the few places on Earth that is literally an active war zone. I'm just saying, maybe that's why they want to build it in Minecraft, show the beauty of it. Or maybe there's some giant, civil war joke in all of this. Maybe this is really the ISIS faction of the server. I don't know for sure until we check it out. So yeah, we're now in Damascus with Emperor Super Katif as the owner, it seems. And, yeah, maybe I think they've just made a big joke about how it's been bombed. Like, there is nothing here besides one greenhouse and a lot of plots where people could build, but haven't really done much there. Maybe it got grief. Maybe someone was like, you know, it'd be funny if we bomb Syria. That is possible. Look at that giant castle over there. This is the ugliest big castle I've seen, but I also think it's kind of beautiful at the same time because of how ugly it is. Because that's how complex tastes work. But no, yeah, looking around the rest of this, we can see that Syria, all of it, or at least Damascus, Syria, has like a couple of nice builds and then a lot of destroyed builds around it. Like, this is really cool, don't get me wrong, but it seems to be the only thing around here. Oh, this isn't even part of Syria. This is Palmyra, it seems. Oh, look, it's where this guy seems to be from. So after our little adventure in the Middle East, there's one more place I feel obliged to check out today, and that has to be the Koreas. You can see they've even built a giant Korean flag as, what is this, Seoul? Seoul is just a giant Korean flag. We have to know, which is better? Is it South Korea, or is it the better Korea with Pyongyang? It's actually funny, they look similarly sized on the map. But yeah, we'll see. We'll check out Busan, head north to Seoul, and then we can check out Pyongyang. So I guess apparently you can head to Seoul but not to Busan, which is kind of odd to me. So this is what Seoul is, which I guess is what the base for people who are working on the giant Korean flag. Again, you got to give some credit to that. No matter how much, no matter how no matter how many blocks you were given, it would still be very hard to make a giant Korean flag. And oh, it's not just a giant Korean flag; it's a giant Korean flag covering the city. There is a whole city down here with a big thing like that up there. That's really cool. Honestly, I do sometimes wonder, when we go to the spacefaring age, whether we use space to travel between points on the Earth, or whether we go to the moon regularly, or Mars or whatever, when enough people start seeing the Earth from outer space, there's going to be a country or a city that uses, like, you know, its Earth view to do something really cool, like a Korean flag or like anything like that. And I think that's either really scary or really wonderful. I don't know which. But yeah, this is beautiful. This is an amazing build. Like, this curved dome thing that it's all built in, because you could just build a flag that floats in the sky, but the fact that it looks like it really could exist that way and be supported by all of this, I think that's what makes this amazing. So yeah, South Korea is one of the most stunning places on this server. Heading north from here even, there's even more. It's not just a town hall and a giant Korean flag. We got some other big skyscraper blocks which match what you'd expect from a Korean city, I guess. Wait, my bad. This is Chungju, a city just to the south of Seoul. Again, really cool that Korea is this well developed. Again, kind of matches what you imagine in the real world, right? Like, oh yeah, look at that. You see big cities. Because South Korea is one of the fastest, like, industrializing and, like, speeding up in terms of GDP growth nations. It's one of the Asian tigers, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, you can see looking around this place, it's not only super beautiful skyscrapers and super nice flags, but also cool little, you know, olden style palaces, but like in Korean style. But, you know, I'm not here just to gawk at this, although actually that's entirely why I'm here. I'm here to check out the rest of Seoul. Oh look, there's even a nice pathway going through a giant building, so you can be like, hey, yeah, I'm just here, see the giant ice pathway. It's a shame I don't have my boat anymore. You can tell this is a real Asian city because we've got a giant uwu next to the road. I mean, if that's not proof that this is what this is, then I don't know what is. But yeah, no, you can see there's a nice little outskirts of the city. Oh, and there's some leftover boats here. Okay, this will take me the entirely wrong way, but I have to see it regardless. What does all of this packed ice look like when you're going along it at packed ice speeds? Oh, you can even go through the DMZ border to get to North Korea via ice boat. Now that is Korean efficiency if I've ever heard of it. Oh god. All of the signs to help you know where to get on or off this giant ice pathway are in Korean, which, again, it's a nice touch, but it really doesn't help me work out where I've got to go. Is it that way? I mean, maybe. Oh, Pohang. That's not Pyongyang, but it sounds close enough. Wait, let's ride our boat into the water stream. See what happens there. I'm honestly not sure how this interaction works. Oh, it floats up. That's seriously cool. I have no idea how I just did this, but I ended up in Qing? I don't know how to say Q's in Chinese cities. I think it's King. But I've ended up here in Haixian when I wanted to be down there in Pyongyang. I don't know how I made a mistake this severe, but boat pathways will do that to you, I guess. So let's head south instead, maybe? Oh, they use the old Manchurian flags, the ones that's got like 5 colors on because it's meant to represent 5 different... It's one of the cooler flags, in my opinion, in terms of what it represents. But yeah, it's also one of the ugliest flags in terms of what it represents when you look at it. Okay, this time I'm crossing the DMZ on foot. My plan is, you know, like, realistically speaking, they can't police the whole forest. An actual fun fact about most borders is although there are, you know, the most common places that people cross, on foot are easy enough to patrol and stop people going across. The truth is, most countries have borders so vast that they can't reasonably patrol them all. So if you want to cross a border very illegally for drug or, you know, like legal purposes, then I guess pro tip is find like a super vague niche route and like drive all the way out there. Try not to arouse suspicions on the way to the border, and then you can probably cross it quite easily. Again, it's like the US-Canada border, for example. It's so long, and you can't patrol the whole thing. You can just patrol the most major parts of it. And probably same with South Korea and North Korea. Even though it's one of the most heavily militarized borders in the world, there has to be some secret way off it. Because you always hear about people defecting from North Korea to China, and somehow people get across the north-south border. They never tell you how, because then the border loophole would be closed. But, you know, they get across somehow, despite it being very heavily armed. So yeah, illegal immigration with Toycat. I guess that's a new series on the channel that we're mixing in with the Earth series. But yeah, more seriously, I'm actually a little bit lost. I think that's Pyongyang though. Oh yeah, you better believe it. Your boy has made it to Pyongyang, capital of the North Korean Republic. Or sorry, they're called the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. The most democratic country. They're so democratic that instead of having a bit of TNT, they have something so much nicer. It's a giant missile in the center of town, because you know what you need to see? You need to see the might of your country every single day on the way to work. Speaking of, oh, by the way, like, nice North Korean flag. I actually really like this one. I think the regional flags aren't so great, but this is really wonderful. It's even paved with emeralds. Have you ever seen a pavement made of emeralds? You probably haven't. It's wonderful to see that here. Capital of Pyongyang and North Korea. Look how great this build is. I think this is wonderful. This city right here might be the best thing I've ever seen in any Minecraft server. Sure, the people live in wooden huts and have to, farm off the ground like this. Sure, they're literally farming people with no food, but the capital is made from a giant missile and emeralds. But on the other hand, looks kind of cool, right? On the other hand, sends a message to the world that you shouldn't mess with North Korea, and isn't that the only message we really need to send? That was a rhetorical question, of course, because the answer is yes, that is the only message we need to send. So yeah, this is North Korea, but inside Minecraft. I think it was beautiful, and I think actually everything we've seen today has been really great. Showing off Europe, it's the area I know best because I live in Europe and I've seen most European countries, but it's really cool to see places that you can't see or haven't seen in real life. I will probably never go to North Korea until the regime falls, but it's cool to see, regardless, North Korea here in Minecraft, even if it's a weird representation. South Korea, never been, was wonderful. All of the American random wilderness I explored through, that was really cool to see too. And yeah, it goes to show the community of players that make this possible is a really great thing. Again, I would recommend if there's a queue, do not join the server. I won't even link it down below just in case that is a thing. But I recommend finding a server like this or finding even just a group of friends to play with. Because again, together you can sometimes do amazing things. Segregating yourself is not usually recommended, but it is a tip that might yield you some great results. And yeah, maybe that's a positive message to send. Maybe it's not. Either way, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Like it if you did like it. Share it if you really liked it. And turn on notifications if you want to see more videos covering weird Minecraft builds and survival stuff. Because I love seeing what people do in Minecraft, and this was no exception. Big thank you to the MC community for having me for today. And yes, thank you to all the people who build these wonderful things. And yeah, I guess thank you to the admin for inviting me on and to expanding the server and to doing all these sorts of things. And just a reminder to any players who are upset about any influx is that this is mostly a problem of, I guess server maintenance or whatever. Like, the server has been expanded many separate times. The only question is, is that expanded enough? And I guess you can support the server if you think what the server needs is more money, or you can not support the server if you think that it's a way to get money out of you. That's a decision you can make with anything in life, but I think censorship is not the way forward. But, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not. Either way, I hope you all enjoyed this video. You can like it if you did like it. You can share if you liked it. My skin looks so bad on job. I realized I said all that stuff already, but man, look at this skin. It is rough. Anyway, yeah, goodbye.